as a boxer?
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. And listen, what Jake Paul has accomplished is he's fighting old guys.
Yes.
He's fighting, all he fights are old guys and whatever. But listen, say what you want, he wins. And he makes money. So he's doing his thing, you know.
Joe just exposed Jake Paul, the man who turned cringeworthy pranks into an empire and accidentally fell into boxing. From the start, Jake has been desperate for attention, calling out anyone who might give him a fight. He even went after Conor McGregor like he was owed money, then shifted focus to Sean Strickland. When those challenges didn't go his way, Jake mastered the art of cherry-picking opponents.
Jake Paul, it's clear to me you are desperate for a reality check. You know what, if I made my money impressing 4-year-olds on YouTube and managed to somehow become a multi-millionaire from it, I'd probably live in a dream world too. But let me explain something to you about combat sports. There are a whole bunch of men out here who will never be as famous as you, will never make the money you've made, who would kick the living fuck out of you. This is the hardest sport in the world, and people dedicate their lives to this, and most of them never get a payday. It never pays off for the majority of fighters, all of which who would fuck you up.
Now, Jake has a fresh set of complaints, because why face real challenges when whining is easier? This time, it's about his fight with Mike, which wasn't the easy win he expected. And who could forget his over-the-top reaction to Andrew Tate's fight offer, handled with all the maturity of a spoiled teenager asked to clean their room.
I'm one of the lucky ones. I made a little bit of money. I don't have 50 million to bet with you, but I do have 3 million to bet with you. So this is your offer. $3 million. You put 3, I put 3. Winner takes all. I'm 5 years out the ring. I'm a kickball.
Joe Rogan left everyone wondering if Jake Paul, the self-proclaimed boxing prodigy, is more focused on the sport or dodging real competition. The latest controversy? Jake's refusal to fight Andrew Tate, despite Tate's public challenge, and a $3 million bet on the table, a move that sparked a social media firestorm and raised plenty of eyebrows.
Yeah, I mean, Jake and I actually talk. He's an alright guy. There was a time we were talking about fighting each other, and I think if this arrest didn't happen, it probably would have come to fruition. We'll see what happens.
Jake Paul, known for his larger-than-life persona and relentless self-promotion, has built a career on carefully cherry-picking opponents, from retired MMA fighters with no boxing experience to celebrities who have no place in the ring. His fights always follow a familiar script, maximize pay-per-view sales, and ensure a high chance of victory. So, when Andrew Tate, a former kickboxing world champion and one of the internet's most polarizing figures, challenged him, Jake's response, or lack thereof, spoke volumes.
Fight, you want to send a contract, send one to me. I will take a few weeks break from living my retired life to kick the living out of a goofy, entitled dickhead like
Tate's challenge was anything but subtle. He not only called Jake out, but taunted him with a hefty monetary bet and an open-ended offer to fight anytime, anywhere. Bold and calculated, it was classic Tate, unapologetically brash. But instead of stepping up, Jake chose to walk away, avoiding the ring entirely. Joe Rogan, never one to hold back, pointed out the obvious. Jake only fights when he can control the odds, and a match with Andrew Tate wouldn't come with a script. Jake's shift away from Andrew Tate took the form of a proposed fight with none other than Mike Tyson. At first glance, it seemed like a boxing fan's dream, but a closer look revealed a calculated move to minimize risk. Tyson, though a legend, is 57 years old and far past his prime. While Tyson's name guarantees ticket sales, the fight lacks the unpredictability and genuine challenge a bout with Andrew Tate would bring. Joe Rogan didn't hold back, calling out Jake's strategy as a masterclass in dodging credible threats.
Yeah, he'll never do that though. He knows. He knows way.
One, he's under contract, and two,
he's not his own boss.
And two, he won't do it. He knows better. He might.
And it's funny to say, like, yo, Conor McGregor is scared of Jake Paul, will never box.
What makes this situation even more damning is Jake's handling of his critics. Rather than confront the accusations head-on, he stayed notably silent. Joe Rogan, however, had plenty to say, pointing out how Jake consistently avoids young, competitive fighters in favor of safer, more marketable matchups. Choosing to fight a retired heavyweight like Mike Tyson over Andrew Tate, who is still in peak condition, perfectly highlights Jake's calculated approach to his so-called boxing career.
Somebody like me, he mentioned me before, and there'll be people like this saying, oh, Carl Froch's talking about himself, he's after a payday. Listen, I'm not after a payday. I'm doing all right. There's no problems with my...
Tate didn't let Jake's rejection slide. He doubled down, calling out Jake's fear and exposing cracks in his tough guy persona. For someone who thrives on bravado and dominance, Jake's reluctance to face Tate reveals a vulnerability that even his most loyal fans can't ignore. Social media backlash was swift and unforgiving, with fans and critics alike branding Jake a coward for ducking what could have been a career-defining fight. Joe Rogan didn't just call out Jake's avoidance tactics, he took aim at the bigger picture. Rogan criticized Jake's entire career as a series of mismatched fights, carefully designed to boost his record rather than challenge his skills. Whether it's retired athletes or inexperienced fighters, Jake's opponents all share one thing: they were never real threats. Rogan's blunt analysis cut through the hype, exposing Jake's strategy as a calculated effort to maintain marketability without jeopardizing his reputation.
But what Jake Paul has accomplished is he's fighting old guys.
Yes.
He's fighting, all he fights are old guys and whatever. But listen, say what you want, he wins. And he makes money. So he's doing his...
The most glaring issue is Jake Paul's refusal to face opponents who could truly challenge him. Fighting Andrew Tate would have been his chance to silence critics and prove he's more than a YouTuber dabbling in boxing. Instead, his avoidance has only fueled the narrative that Jake prioritizes showmanship over genuine competition. Joe Rogan's analysis made it clear. Jake's decision to dodge Tate was about control, not courage. Even his supporters are starting to question his motives. While a fight with Mike Tyson might grab headlines, it does little to bolster Jake's credibility as a serious boxer. For someone who claims to be revolutionizing the sport, Jake's actions suggest he's more focused on protecting his image than earning respect in the ring. Rogan's critique struck a chord with fans who are growing tired of the spectacle and craving real competition. Andrew Tate has emerged as the wild card in this saga. His relentless pursuit of a fight with Jake Paul has not only kept the narrative alive, but also highlighted the stark contrast between the two. While Jake thrives in controlled environments and calculated matchups, Tate embodies unpredictability and raw aggression. This dynamic explains why Jake is so hesitant to accept the challenge. Fighting Tate wouldn't just be risky, it would threaten the carefully crafted persona Jake has built. Joe Rogan's commentary didn't just expose Jake's tactics, it raised broader concerns about the state of boxing. In an era where hype often outweighs substance, Jake Paul has become the poster child for style over substance. Rogan's critique was a pointed reminder that true fighters don't avoid challenges, they seek them out. Jake's reluctance to face Tate sends a message louder than any press release or social media post. It's not about courage, but control.
Delusion. That's delusion. I'm sorry.
beef.
Look, Andrew, fighter, legitimate, badass motherfucker, strong mentality. Sorry, Tristan Tate is a weak link.
I say let's
He got a bad shoulder. He's shaped like a gingerbread man. I don't want no beef, but that's delusion.
PFO will set this up.
A MMA
10
double tag team
million,
match.
10 million for everybody.
You might have a fight.
The fallout from this saga has left Jake Paul's reputation in tatters. His refusal to fight Andrew Tate, paired with his decision to face a retired Mike Tyson, has solidified the perception that he's more interested in playing the role of a fighter than actually being one. Joe Rogan's commentary has only amplified this view, leaving fans and critics questioning whether Jake will ever step up and prove himself in a fight that isn't carefully scripted from the beginning. For now, it seems the only thing Jake is truly fighting for is the illusion of being a legitimate contender. Jake Paul's decision to avoid Andrew Tate's challenge didn't just bruise his reputation, it obliterated it. For years, he's marketed himself as a fearless warrior in the ring, but this fiasco stripped away that facade, exposing him as a businessman who prioritizes paychecks over proving his worth. Fans aren't buying it anymore. The image of Jake as a daring competitor is gone, replaced by the reality of a guy who picks his fights like he's choosing items off a fast food menu. Only the safest, most marketable options.
Brothers, one cage. Jake Logan, you Tristan. Who comes out alive?
You know what? I'm trying so hard to not start internet beefs. I'm really trying not to.
You can say Jake and Logan, man.
Bro,
Don't worry about it.
No, I can't lie. I'm going through life. I'm trying to live peaceful.
It's not that Jake Paul can't fight, he clearly can. The issue is that he refuses to face anyone who poses a real threat. Andrew Tate threw down the gauntlet, complete with a $3 million bet and a no excuses challenge, but instead of stepping up, Jake stepped away. This has left many questioning whether his boxing career is more of a PR stunt than an athletic endeavor. Joe Rogan didn't hold back, pointing out the obvious. Jake doesn't want a challenge. He wants a guaranteed win. Then there's Jake's next move, teasing a fight with 57-year-old Mike Tyson. Sure, Tyson is a legend, but let's be honest, he's well past his prime. Jake knows Tyson's name guarantees headlines, but the fight itself is low risk, high reward. A win over a retired heavyweight adds to Jake's highlight reel without exposing his weaknesses. Rogan didn't pull punches, calling Jake out for dodging young, dangerous opponents like Andrew Tate while clinging to safe bets. Meanwhile, Andrew Tate has been relentless, seizing every opportunity to call Jake Paul out. He's labeled him a coward and mocked his refusal to fight, and honestly, Tate isn't wrong. For someone who thrives on controversy and confidence, Jake's silence speaks volumes. Instead of addressing Tate's challenge, he's pretending the offer doesn't even exist. Social media isn't letting him off the hook either. Fans are ripping into Jake, accusing him of hiding behind his brand and avoiding any fight that could risk his carefully crafted record. The real question now is, where does Jake go from here? He can't keep ducking fighters like Tate without completely destroying his credibility. Joe Rogan made it clear, Jake's reputation is hanging by a thread. If he continues dodging real competition and staging glorified exhibitions, his brand will crumble.